All right, fellas, we are live. We are back. It's been a minute since the West Pod. We had to let that one marinate for a minute, but we are back. -1. So you got me, Lance.
Yo, what's up? This Ham?
Yo, what up? It's Christian.
Yo, this Randy Roper, the firing squad, and we back.
We back, and we
It's been
got
a long time.
It's been a minute.
I shouldn't have left you
And guess what? We got a special
without
guest.
a dope pod to step to.
I'm trying to figure out how to introduce this dude we got in the studio. We got the former missile defender of the year, Lieutenant Colonel. Is that right?
Yes.
Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Frazier.
Yes.
One of the best.
Hold up. What was his title again? I gotta hear that again.
Well, he's won missile defender
Yeah, exactly. It's Missile Defender of the Year.
of the year. Yes, my bad.
Oh, wow.
I was trying to put that up.
Damn.
Wow.
So missile defender of the
Wow.
year, Lieutenant Colonel, Lieutenant Dan.
That's right.
He's in the Air Force. He protects us from terroristas,
Absolutely.
and he's done a lot of cool stuff. We about to pick out of his brain. And just so you know, so Jerry, on the record, we can ask you anything, but you're not obligated to tell us everything.
You can ask anything you want. The only things I can't do is like outwardly disrespect the country or disrespect the president, as it were. And I can't talk about the overthrow of the government. Can't do it.
Gotcha. Well, so,
Everything else, everything we got opinions on. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna let it out.
Word. Okay, so what is your exact position in the Air Force?
I work for United States Central Command. That's the combatant command, the geographic combatant command that oversees the Middle East and over to Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Iran, and whatnot. You know, we've dissected the world up so that we can be able to better organize and have the forces that do the things that we do overseas. I work for the Middle Eastern, predominantly Central Asia, Central and Southern Asia region of the world. And my job is there, you know, every combatant command has an Army, a Navy, an Air Force, a Marine Corps, and Special Forces. I'm in the Air Force, so that's United States Air Force's Central Command, or AFCENT. And my duty title is I'm the Division Chief for Integrated Air and Missile Defense for the, for Central Command. What I do on a daily basis, I organize the Army and the Navy and the Air Force's capabilities so that we can provide air and missile defense across the region and in some specific key areas.
Okay, so what level of clearance do you have?
I have what's called TS-SCI, that stands for Top Secret Secure Compartment Information. And on top of that, there's some other code worded as things that I can get into, but I have to be in a special location to do those things.
So who has a higher level outside of me than you of clearance?
You said you. You've got people who have top secret is the highest as it gets. And then you have what we call code worded programs. And then it's compartmented that means I work in my section in that compartment. I may not know what goes on in other compartments.
Gotcha.
So to be read into those other compartments, you may have to, you have to be read into those projects or those missions, and they are code word clearance, and you have to have the code words and be able to access that information.
All right, so I talk to Jerry all the time. This is like a brother. So I'm gonna let y'all get in. The only question I'm gonna lead with is, how worried should we be about Little Rocket Man?
You shouldn't. 100%, you shouldn't.
Why not?
It looks scary, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It sounds scary, doesn't it?
I mean, he's shooting missiles and
Yeah.
little rockets everywhere.
Duds.
Okay, so let's just say he popped off and he fired. First of all, which part of our country could he reach with one of his missiles right now?
They said that you could possibly reach towards like Alaska, the west coast of Canada, Seattle, Washington State, Oregon, California. But I mean, just based off of what one missile did, it went up and came back down. And because it went so far up, I guess if you stretched out the trajectory, it could go that far. Of course, you can probably hit Hawaii. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be worried about it. And I'll tell you, and the reason why you shouldn't be worried about it is because it's not accurate. It's not accurate. And then on top of that, what he's trying to do is just gain legitimacy. He doesn't want to start a fight with us. I'm here to tell you right now, I've read every war plan around the world that we would use to defend the United States. I used to work in Europe. So, you defend the homeland from Europe. I've done that job before. And I know what our plans do to protect our European partners and allies, and then some, like Israel's part of the European area, but I'm here to tell you that no.
We wiped them out the floor with them.
I'd tell you this. It looks scary, but their forces are very unpracticed, and they look like they're all organized and stuff. It's just like Russia used to be in the 60s, 70s, or they have these big parades, and you see all these people marching in rank and file, and you see all these weapon systems being driven down the street. Rusted, painted over, phonies, mock-ups, stuff like that. Yeah, it's used to keep their people in a certain mindset. But if we had to bring the real Adilla forces like us, I'm talking people who are well practiced in going into people's countries, quite frankly. Yeah, mitigate their forces, their defenses. I've seen our plan for dealing with North Korea. I'm here to tell you. And I'm not going to be like
that dude got me like excited like the dang Mayweather fight.
I'm not going to be like the dude. I'm not going to be at the dude at the very top telling you like believe me, trust me. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying, speaking from experience. I mean, I've got experience. There's some people in our government that don't have experience. I'm talking about experience. I've read the situation. I'm saying don't worry about it.
So what y'all think? Because to me, it sounds like I kind of get a glimpse into what 45. If you're undisciplined, you can see why 45 is just popping off because he knows how bad it can be. And if someone as arrogant as him, he kind of likes to taunt that. So
I'll tell you this, and this is the way you really should think about it. I'll tell you the way you really should think of it. I saw a Christopher Walken clip while he was in a movie, and he was talking about there's this lion, and he looks all beaten down, he's all tired and everything, and he just comes, he walks around, and just sits down, and then here come all these other young buck thundercat lions, and they're biting at his tail and biting at his hindquarter and biting at his ears and nose and taking a piss on him and shit. And then guess what? The lion just sits there, right? The lion just sits there. And while, you got to understand when the lion's killed, the jackal is the one who really benefits. So here come the jackals. And the jackals come out and they try and fuck with the lion, and the lion just looks at him. And then next thing you know, the lion's up on his all fours. And when he's up on all fours, the jackal's trying to attack him. And literally the lion that everybody thought was all beat down and everything just eviscerates the jackals. And then once he gets it done, he starts praying. He starts eating the jackals, which is unreal, right? Because that's not normally what lions do. But he does it, and he does it in front of all the other lions so that they can see what he's doing. And then when the lion is done eating the innards of the jackal, he just goes back and sits right back how he was. The thing about it is, you can have the dude who talks the loudest, and normally it's just like Frank. What was his name? An American Gangster, Frank Cross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, what did he say? The loudest one in the room is usually the weakest one in the room?
Right,
I'm
Frank
telling
Lucas,
you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Frank
yeah.
Lucas. He said the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Well, you got to understand, you don't have to be the loudest guy. The wise man never missed an opportunity to shut the fuck up. So that's really the way, if you were really trying to really scare somebody, shut up.
Yep.
Shut up. And the thing is, this dude over here, he's rattling his saber. And then you notice that every single time our guy says, don't do that shit, he goes and he does it.
Yep.
And what do? Not a
Nothing.
damn thing.
Not a damn. Yeah.
So,
Right.
So like I said, the way we were handling it under the previous administration, we had our foot on their neck and nobody knew it. And we were quiet about it. Now we're talking about it. Oh, let's go kick their ass. And then you see all the supporters. And there was a there was a video on YouTube, and I'll let you get back to you. And this guy was walking around saying, do you think that we need to have military aggression against North Korea? And people were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And he was like, okay, now, could you just point out North Korea on this map? And so you would be amazed at how many motherfuckers were like pointing at like Canada, and then pointing like at Central Europe, and one person pointed at Australia, and then one person pointed at Africa, and there was like, it's like, and then their excuse was, the excuse was, well, geography isn't my best thing. So
Wow.
I'm here to tell you, man, don't worry about it because he's trying to get legitimacy. Now, this is what you think, this is what you need to be concerned about. If you see a ballistic missile go over Japan, over Hawaii, and land between Hawaii and the West Coast, all right, get concerned. But guess what? I work with the forces that defend us, and I know what I've got to literally shoot that shit out of the sky. I know our procedures. I wrote half of them, so I'm not really worried about it.
I feel so good right now. Y'all don't understand.
All right.
Little
I
Rocket Man
got a
need to
question.
chill.
I got a question.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
playing Call
I
of
got a
Duty
question.
right now too.
Hey, Jerry, this rope.
What's up with it?
Hey, so you saying that North Korea doesn't want it with the United States? Does the United States want to just destroy North Korea?
The thing about it is, anytime that you want to go and just take out the United States, unless it's absolute necessary, unless there's any time that you really want to go and attack somebody, it's because you want to draw attention away from something else. So, as a whole, this country does not have this country as a whole does not have the stomach right now to just go into an offensive fight against somebody just for the fuck of it. We really don't.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense. Because I was just
Alright.
wondering, like, you answered my question too. Because I was just wondering how compartmentalized it is. Because it's like I'm imagining like the president, like that one loud homegirl in the club who like trying to hype her boyfriend up to fight or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is.
No, he got it.
Okay.
Here.
That's all it is.
And we just like, nah, man.
But listen, though, using Ham's example. So what about this, though? You tell me this. Make me feel good about this.
What's up?
North Korea, Iran, Syria, and Russia at the same time. Can we handle that?
You'd never have to handle all three at the same time, and I can tell you why. Because we got plans for all of them. You have to understand, there's only 143 million Russians. All that land, there's only 143 million Russians. And of that 140, and you know, when you start looking at it from a numbers perspective, there are 330 million Americans, give or take another 20 million of people who are here that are undocumented. And then you have, you know, so that's 350 million people for the most part. And then in Russia, there's nobody that's undocumented there because they don't allow undocumented people there. So, and nobody really wants to go to Russia unless you're really that hard up. So 147 million people, let's just round it up, 147 million people. All that land, and really, to be quite honest, you're looking at a criminal organ. And they're a 19th century criminal dictate. The United States is a 21st century democracy, a liberal democracy at that. So, no, that's not a fight even worth having. That guy, same mentality as the North Koreans. I just want to have power over my people. I want to show people that we're strong, because if they know we're strong, then they won't have a need to want to think for themselves and overthrow the government and have free elections. And then you go over here to North Korea. I already saw the plan for that. And based off of what we have forward deployed right now, and then stuff that we can bring from the States, I'm just telling you this. It's
Sleep easy.
Foregone conclusion of what's going to happen with that. And then on top of that, people, oh man, we're going to launch nuclear missiles out of the United States. Yeah, you ain't got to do that. That's what everybody saw Red October. We got all them shits floating around under the water, you know, and one ballistic missile submarine can just lay out a country that's the size of what, Idaho? So
Wow.
Dang.
get after it, man. You know, really really.
I just got afraid of Russia because I heard Steven Seagal was over there.
Right.
Right.
I didn't know if they like turned them or what.
The thing about Iran, because
That's messed up too, man.
the thing about Iran is because I work with information that's focused on that country like literally every day, and the reason why they don't want to fuck with anybody is because they got this nuclear deal. They're cool. They're starting to get more goods into Iran, and they're starting to improve their quality of life. They want to live. They really do want to live. The thing is, there's a fear because they have a very diverse. Their national prominence is their ballistic missile force, and then right across the Arabian Gulf, you have all U.S. partners. All these U.S. partners produce a good chunk of the oil that we use on a daily basis. And then they got to sell the oil out of the Strait of Hormuz, which is like 12 miles wide, right? And then, of course, Iran claims the majority of that strait. And so we can only sail through this little bit that's like 2 miles wide. And all the commerce for the Arabian Gulf goes through that strait. Now, of course, on the other side of Saudi Arabia, you have the Red Sea, but not all the countries can access what they need from the Red